Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Women's History Month. My name is Lori Ann, and I'm the Director of Education at the National Women's History Museum. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for this special Brave Girls Virtual Storytime. For those of you who are with us for the first time, welcome. For those of you who have attended a Brave Girls program before, welcome back. We thank you for taking time out of your Wednesday to be with us this afternoon. As always, we are recording this presentation so that it can be available on our website following the event. This month's Brave Girls Virtual Storytime programming is co-presented with DC Public Library in collaboration with NBCUniversal Telemundo's Unstoppable Women, with generous underwriting support from Time Warner Media. Today's program is a continuation of the NWHM's Women's History Month celebrations of the women who inspire us, nurture us, move us forward, and dare us to fulfill our greatest potential. Sometimes that person is a caring mother who reminds us that we are exactly who we are meant to be. Our guest today is a mother who wrote today's story as a love letter for her own daughters, but I'll leave that to Sulma to tell us more about. Author Sulma Arzu-Brown joins me today. She'll be reading her 2015 picture book, Bad Hair Does Not Exist. Sulma will answer your questions after the presentation. So if you, your classmates, or your grown-ups would like to ask a question, please use the Q&A function on the toolbar at the bottom of the screen to submit your questions. You may ask your questions at any time during the presentation, and we'll get to as many as time allows. Now, during the presentation, I ask that you be respectful of each other in the chat, remembering that active chat conversations during the author's reading can be a distraction for others. And now I'm very pleased to introduce our author. For over 15 years, Sulma Arzu-Brown has been working as a champion for diversity and inclusion, well before the term became a trending topic. She is a proud Garifuna and Afro-Latina woman raised in the South Bronx. Sulma's work with the Garifuna Coalition USA and NYC Hispanic Chamber of Commerce merited her many award recognitions. She is the author of the award-winning book, Bad Hair Does Not Exist, and My Hair Comes With Me, Shifting the Paradigm of What Success Looks Like. She's the creator of the nation's first Afro-Latina sitcom TV series, and she utilizes her platform to bring honor to the Afro-Latina diaspora. Brave girls and boys, please join me in welcoming Sulma to our story time.
Hello, great day, great afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Lori, for that wonderful introduction. There was a time that I was not as brave as people would perceive me to be. But, with the help of my community members and my families, just like implementing so much love and unity around, I became brave because of them, because who I represent. So I am the author of Bad Hair Does Not Exist. Is actually bilingual as well, and Pelo Malo No Existe. The reason why it's bilingual, as Lori alluded earlier, I am a Garifuna woman. I was born in Honduras. Honduras is in Central America. So because I was born in a Spanish-speaking country, it also makes me an Afro-Latina, which also means that my daughters are also Afro-Latina. So when I write my books, I want to make sure that we are all able to understand the books and communicate for our overall community. I have to be truthfully honest, as I always am. Did I ever want to be an author? It never even crossed my mind to be an author. I thought I was going to be somewhere in the media, public relations, but never an author. I became an author because I am a loving and caring mother, and my husband is also a loving and caring father. And it took us a very long time to find the right babysitter, the right caregiver for my Bella Victoria. She was 3 at the time. Now she is 11. So you do the math. The book has been in existence for a very long time. But I am a huge proponent of working in community. I am not the type of mom that would be upset if my caregiver would help me with my daughter's hair. In the small village that I grew up, hair was one of the ways in which we showed love and communicated with each other. So this caregiver loved my daughter, understood our family values, and when mommy would forget picture day, guess who would make sure that my daughter looked amazing for her picture day? My caregiver. But one day I went to get Bella Victoria from the caregiver, and I noticed that Bella's hair was tousled. So Bella had pulled all of her little barrettes out. Could you imagine? I did her hair so cute. By the time I went to pick her up, her hair was pulled apart, and so I could tell she had a long day, and so did the caregiver. And the caregiver said to me, Sulma, tienes que alisarle el pelo a la niña porque es pelo malo. She said, Sulma, you have to relax your daughter's hair because it's bad hair. And my heart just dropped. As a mommy, I got so sad. I got so sad because no mommy wants to hear anything bad about the way their children look. You know, when we have our children are the most beautiful thing on the face of this earth from hair to toe. So I was hurt. I was also angry. But then I remembered that my little girl was right there looking at me. I remembered that this caregiver loved my child and appreciated our family. So I chose to respond from a place of love. So what I told her was, you know, there's long hair, there's short hair, there's curly hair, there's straight hair, but bad hair does not exist. And I also told her, you know what, how about this? How about I find a book? How about I find the book and I will come and read it to the kids? And we can help raise the self-esteem and make every child feel very, very, very special. Not just Bella, but everybody. Let's make them know and understand that they're beautiful. And something lovely happened because I responded not from anger and not from pain, but from love. The caregiver opened up her heart to me and she said, Sulma, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. You see, my dad was also Afro-Latino, was a Black Latino man. And every time I saw Papi comb his hair, he would always say, pelo malo, bad hair, pelo malo, bad hair. And I said, well, that's gonna stop with me and you. We are not gonna take this term to the next generation, and we're not gonna give it to our kids. So I went everywhere, looking for this book. I had a friend of mine who did story time in different schools. I said, give me all the books, because I need to bring a book to the babysitter. I did not find a book. The books were too poetic for me. They were beautiful books, beautiful illustrations. But you know, I was raised in the South Bronx, so I like to keep it real. You have to talk to me straight up. You know, if it's long, is my hair is beautiful, why? Is it beautiful because it's long, or is it beautiful because it's red, or is it beautiful because it's curly? I wanted people I wanted everyone to keep it real with me. So I wanted to make sure that the books kept it real. So I am a firm believer, a faith-driven woman. I believe in God. And for me, God put this book in my spirit to write. I was at the doctor's office one day taking Bella to an appointment, and I started just watching her and admiring her and how beautiful her hair was and how beautiful her skin was and how joyous she was in all of her light. And my spirit person told me, you have a notebook in your briefcase and you have a pencil. Start writing. So I started writing really, really, really fast. What I actually wrote was the response that I had given the babysitter. And I only knew one person, one illustrator who knew how to draw, and that happened to be my best friend, Isidra Sabio, who is also from Honduras. I read her the book, right, that I had written, and she said, I'm going to do all of the illustrations. I'm going to do all of the illustrations. And it took me about 5 minutes to write the book. I was writing so fast. And it took her 3 months to do all of the illustrations. And together we are now changing the world. And I would love the opportunity to read the book to each and every one of you. All right. So that is the book, Bad Hair Does Not Exist, Pelo Malo No Existe. Okay, so this is my brief introduction. So we wanted to make sure we captured all of our beauties, right? So my hair is curly, my hair is straight. We don't have bad hair because bad hair does not exist. Hay pelo crespo, hay pelo lacio, pero pelo malo no existe. My hair is short, my hair is long. We don't have bad hair because bad hair does not exist. Hay pelo corto, hay pelo largo, pero pelo malo no existe. My hair is combed, my hair is tousled. We don't have bad hair because bad hair does not exist. Hay pelo peinado y hay pelo despeinado, pero pelo malo no existe. There are all types of hair and all hair is good. Hay toda clase de pelo y todo pelo es bueno. My hair is red. My hair is blonde. We don't have bad hair because bad hair does not exist. Hay pelo rojo, hay pelo rubio, pero pelo malo no existe. My hair is white. My hair is black. We don't have bad hair because bad hair does not exist. Hay pelo blanco, hay pelo negro, pero pelo malo no existe. My hair is afro. My hair is mohawk. Hay pelo afro, hay pelo mohawk, pero pelo malo no existe. We don't have bad hair because bad hair does not exist. There are all types of hair and all hair is good. Hay toda clase de pelo y todo pelo es bueno. My hair is loose. My hair is braided. Hay pelo suelto. Hay pelo entrenzado. We don't have bad hair because bad hair does not exist. Pelo malo no existe. My hair has dreadlocks. My hair is wavy. We don't have bad hair because bad hair does not exist. Hay pelo rasta. Hay pelo colocho, pero pelo malo no existe. There are all types of hair and all hair is good. Hay toda clase de pelo y todo pelo es bueno. Therefore, play with your hair. Have fun with your hair. Love your hair. Because bad hair does not exist. Juega con tu pelo, diviértete con tu pelo, ama tu pelo, porque tu pelo es bueno. Pelo malo no existe. And this is the book that has changed the world for the better. I had no idea, again, that I wanted to be an author. And when I did my first speaking engagement, I did it because someone overheard the story on how I wrote this book and why I wrote this book. So my friend came up to me and said, Sulma, I didn't know you were an author. And I said, well, what are you talking about, an author? Well, you wrote a book, right? And I said, oh yeah, I guess that makes me an author. And that, my friends, is how I discovered that I was an author, and how I discovered my talent, and how I discovered how important it was to respond from a place of love when it comes to seeing a problem in the world. And the goal is to solve it, right? But we can't solve it when we're angry. We can't solve it when we're very, very upset. If we really want to make that change and that difference, we have to activate love. And I wanted to also make sure for all the adults that are listening, this is my opportunity, our opportunity to show the world, right, about the Black experience, about the Afro-Latina, and introduce our community in a way that it deserves to be introduced, with beauty and love and radiance. And a lot of the images that you see in the books were inspired by real people. This is the illustrator of the book, Isidra. This is me. This is my daughter, Suleni. This is our friend, Melissa. So you will see my community all throughout this book. And I am so excited to be a part of the National Women's History Museum, to be able to share this important message and something that I, as a mommy, was able to contribute to the world.
Thank you so much for that affirming message. It's so appreciated and so fitting for Women's History Month, Sulma. There's some questions that are popping up in the Q&A feature, which, by the way, if you do have any questions, please do drop those into the Q&A so that we can read them out for everyone to hear. But Sulma, there's a question here in the Q&A feature that says, first and foremost, I want to thank you for your work. As somebody who was also told her hair was too rough and wild, and thus sending me on a journey of relaxer and hair damage, this form of acceptance and affirmation is something I could only dream of having when I was a child. My question to you is, how did you find navigating the world of literature as a Black woman?
I found when I first read number one, thank you so much for that. I get a lot of stories like that, so you are not alone, and I get to now share your story with others to let them know they are not alone either, that we're all dealing with the same type of challenges, but now we have a solution, and we don't have to go with the problem to the next generation. So I appreciate that. When I first wrote the book, if you notice, all of my protagonists are all girls, are all women, because at that time they're oh my God, I think there were less than like I'm not sure if it's 5 or less than 10% of the books, with less than that, about 5% of the books that had Black girls and Black women as protagonists. So going into this world, I had to self-publish my book, and still today, even like major publishers are still like, they may not feel comfortable with the title of the book, or I've gotten things like, oh, that's a cute little book for African girls, quote unquote, right? Oh, that's just for Black girls. So I've gotten a lot of that, but what I've been able to do with this particular book is show that it's about the human experience, and it's about what we all have in common. If you notice, one of the pages is a little girl giving, a birthday gift to another little girl, right? And what I ask everybody is, who here has a birthday, right? If you're alive, you have a birthday, and right? And so it's like in your respective community during this birthday celebration, we always give gifts to each other. That's a human experience that we all have. One of the pages, you were able to see a grandma making cupcakes. That was my grandma that we illustrated, by the way, showing a cupcake recipe to her granddaughter, right? And this is how traditions get passed and family recipes get passed. And there's certain things within our own respective families that we pass on, some cute, beautiful memories at some point. So I'm going at it as a Black woman, but showcasing the human experience that connects each and every one of us, and realizing that we have more in common than we have differences, like Maya Angelou said. Mm-hmm.
There's a couple more questions here. A couple of students, both, let's see, they asked the same question, so I'm trying to combine them. But Victoria and Soraya both asked about the other books that you've written. Could you talk about them just very briefly?
Sure. Thank you, Victoria and Soraya. Victoria is actually Bella's name, Bella Victoria. That's her name, and that's my mom's name as well. But I also wrote My Hair Comes With Me, Shifting the Paradigm of What Success Looks Like. And this is the book over here. When I was younger, there are a lot of careers that I had no idea even existed. Right? No one was telling us in our communities what a CEO was and that we can be a CEO. No one was telling us that we can go into the STEM sciences, right? No one was, if you see anyone, our family members from the disabled community, no one was telling them that they can still dance and be a choreographer. So I wanted to start planting seeds of empowerment in the minds of all of our children so that they can aspire to be, other things. In the community that I live in, a lot of the kids that I talk to, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, but they always want to go into like the social work industry because everything we see around us is problems. So what I'm trying to let them know that there are other careers and opportunities in which they can also solve problems, especially in the marketing worlds, right? And how the messages get to us. So My Hair Comes With Me is that seed planting. And I wanted to let everyone know that this is a more diverse book. I am inclusive of my white brothers and sisters. I am inclusive of my faith-based brothers and sisters. So the protagonist, again, will always be women of color because the lack of the books. But it was important for me to showcase my community as a whole and my allies and who I interact with on a daily basis.
Thank you. And lots of student questions here. One student asked, I want to ask these questions together. So one student asked, how did your daughter feel when the babysitter said she had bad hair? And another student asked, when you were young, did people make fun of your hair?
Okay, so my daughter, she was 3.5 years old, so she didn't have a lot of words to express herself, but I hurt for her. Right. And I could tell she was looking at me and she was, but she also felt a lot. So me looking at her, I saw that she felt embarrassed. Right. So I knew that mommy had to step up to the plate, and whatever I did at that moment, she would imitate. So that was a part that was very important to me to make sure that I'm able to be that example for my daughter. When I was and my older daughter, Suleni, I actually came back home and I told her about the experience that we had. And I knew that I had to create a tool of empowerment so that if she sees anyone get bullied in her school because of her hair, then she has the respectful words to protect herself and defend her classmates, right, in a respectful manner. When I was young in Honduras, I came here at the age of 6, but I remember that we communicated through hair. Like anyone was allowed to do our hair from our cousin. That's how we learned to braid. That's how we learned how to do each other's hair. So it was a point of interaction, of connection with one another. So the term bad hair literally didn't exist in the small town that I was growing up. And it wasn't until I came to the United States years later where I started learning about this term. But the term comes with its own set of history and colloquialism. So that's what we're trying to do. Stop it and end it.
And Sulma, you mentioned that the inspiration for writing your book was, you told this story about your daughter and the babysitter, but, really you saw a problem and you knew you could respond to it with love. So Lisette asked, how can we write our own book?
So I think that there's a book inside all of us, right? As a faith-believing Christian, it says that doctrine your life, right, carefully. So we all have the power to write our lives, our experiences, how we're feeling. I always tell this to everybody, whatever you feel in your heart, write it down immediately. If you notice, I didn't wait, I'll write the book tomorrow. Maybe next week. I'll wait till I'm in front of a desk and in the office and in front of my computer. No, when that spirit hit me and I knew that I had all the resources, I mean, a lot of us have phones. Most of my books have been written on my phone on the train. So I do not waste that calling. So whenever you want to write anything, do not waste the calling. Write it down right away.
I'm going to ask you this one last question, and that is, have you stood up for others on top of standing up for your daughters? And how old are you?
Brown does not frown. Thank you. I love saying my age. So I am 43 years young. Okay. And I do stand up for others every day. I work on diversity and inclusion. I actually, I am the creator of the first Afro-Latino family sitcom series. So I have had to stand up for my cast members as well. I also make sure that I advocate for the organizations in my community or organizations that I believe in. So my connection to corporation through the previous opportunities and jobs that I've had allow me to, every time I do a corporate event, I always list the organizations within my community or organizations that I have worked for those corporations to consider supporting, to highly consider supporting. That is the non-negotiable part, because a lot of times when we get out of our community, it is in our culture, in my culture, to always bring something back. So my day-to-day is literally standing up for my community, speaking up for those voices that may not be heard. And when I have a seat on the table, like I think it was Oprah that said that she comes with all of her ancestors. So I come with all of my ancestors to those tables and all of my community members to make sure that we create doors of opportunities for them, because they are deserving of it.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. And actually, I just want to ask this last question. We got 2 more student questions, and then guys, I got to call it quits here. Betsy would like to know, and you talked about this when we spoke before the program, but how long did it take you to think of the idea for the book? And I know it came to you like lightning, but the other one was, when's your next book coming out?
Okay. So yeah, I actually have 8 books in total already written, and they're like basic instructions for growing up. My next one is already out. It's called My Best Friend Likes Boys More Than Me, but it's a really cute way on when I used to be boy crazy, and it affected my grades at some point. So it's a story about 2 best friends that have to help each other through this, boy crazy and relationship phase, so that it doesn't affect their education. Is one of my favorite books. But I am actually working on the translation for My Hair Comes With Me in the Spanish version. And my next book will be coming out hopefully next year, which is called I Think I'm Jealous of My BFF. And that's going to tackle when we have, tackle the fact that we have to be more supportive to each other, with each other as women, instead of pulling each other down. So it's going to navigate through the stories of when we feel a little insecure of another woman, but how do we combat that by supporting your fellow woman and your fellow best friend. So that's also one of my favorite books.
So on that note, and just really quickly, because we're right here at our time, what call to action would you give these young audience members?
Sure, absolutely. The call to action I will give to everyone listening. Now, we all see something in society that we have to solve, and it is in each and every one of you within your talent range to solve that. So honor who you are, honor your path, and follow that light. Number 2, when you see books with protagonists that look like us or may not look like anyone in your family members, do not be afraid to pick them up, to give them as a gift to somebody. There were many books that actually, all the books that my daughters read as they were growing up never had a Black protagonist, right? Yet we welcome the family into our home and into our bookshelves. And I ask respectfully that you are able to do the same with my family and my community. So definitely be sure to gift this for a birthday or a Christmas.
Perfect. Spread the message. Okay. Well, thank you again, Sulma, for sharing this inspiring story with us. Just a reminder that the presentation today was recorded and will be available on the museum's dedicated YouTube channel for viewing later this week. Thank you again to our generous sponsor, Time Warner Media, our collaborator, NBCUniversal Telemundo Unstoppable Women, and our co-presenter for this month's programming, DC Public Library. Brave Girls Virtual Storytime will be taking a brief pause for spring break in the upcoming weeks before returning with Spring After Spring, How Rachel Carson Inspired the Environmental Movement by Stephanie Roth Sisson on April 20th. Until then, keep reading and be brave. Bye now.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. This is wonderful. Thank you.